Welcome to my Mario game tier list, in which I've organized all the Mario games here into groups based on what series and or genre they belong to. Ain't it beautiful? The tiers are self-explanatory except for A, the bar of greatness, which is where a game has achieved the desired level of quality I wish all games could reach. Anything higher is a game that goes further beyond. This is probably going to be the most unoriginal video on my channel, but one I feel is actually quite necessary. All these kinds of videos I've made regarding different kinds of Mario games, I've really pinpointed certain aspects of them, but I haven't especially revealed my taste on all of them from a broad sense. I feel like after this video, after you have watched this video, once I make more videos on Mario games in the future, you'll be able to better see where I'm coming from since you'll know my broad take on the franchise as a whole. We're going to start with Luigi's Mansion, which I'm not even sure why it's classified as a Mario game if Luigi's Mansion 3 isn't here, and there's some Yoshi games here too, but I digress. There's no sports games here, maybe that's for another day. Luigi's Mansion, one of the most unique games I have played ever. It might sound weird to say that, but when you think about it, there really is no game that's kind of like Luigi's Mansion. I'm sure you might be able to think of some collectathons, but Luigi's Mansion is about, well, playing as this cowardly character that's kind of humming along to the main tune of the game, sucking up ghosts, trying to find collectibles in this mansion that isn't actually that big. You're quite slow, you're not really sure where to go, these ghosts are trying to scare you, and it has this awesome atmosphere that I feel like Mario is having trouble with matching. Darkmoon doesn't really, well, I feel like I should rank Luigi's Mansion first. I put that at the bar of greatness. Luigi's Mansion concept of having this vacuum where you're sucking up ghosts and the atmosphere behind it and the kind of underlying story, which I kind of tried to decipher in my Mario Story and Luigi's Mansion video, is just enough for me to be like, okay, this concept was executed phenomenally. You can beat Luigi's Mansion pretty quick. It's not that long of a game, but it could be if you're trying to go for 100% because it rewards you for getting more and more money throughout the game, something that Mario games really fail at, frankly. Luigi's Mansion Darkmoon tried doing what Luigi's Mansion did, but in a different way by introducing different kinds of mansions with different objectives, and I can appreciate that different take on the series, especially with the flashlight being a little different. However, they changed the ghost designs and made them a little bit more, how do I describe it? Bland. The other ghost designs were kind of bombastic and they really stuck out in your head, but the ghost designs in Darkmoon don't really have that same distinct feel. The boss fights don't feel as good either, and it doesn't feel as rewarding exploring different kinds of mansions in these restrained objective scenarios as it does in one mansion that gets fleshed out over time where you can go wherever you want for the most part. So that's why I wouldn't put Luigi's Mansion at the bar of greatness. I feel like it falls a little short. However, I still feel like the concept is good enough for me to appreciate it and it didn't flub up entirely. I also really like the characterization between Luigi and Mario in both of these games, although Darkmoon probably does it a little bit better with this ending. I won't reveal it entirely, but Luigi's Mansion has less scenes of Luigi and Mario. Well, there's only one, I'm pretty sure. And then Darkmoon has, actually might have the same amount, but it just feels nicer. If I were to put Luigi's Mansion 3 on this list, I haven't played it yet. That's my admission. I've seen a lot of the gameplay though, and a lot of what it tries to do, so I'd probably put it behind Luigi's Mansion. I can't confidently say it would be better than Luigi's Mansion in my eyes because I haven't played it yet. Super Mario Bros. We're going to get into our 2D platformers here. I've played through all of Super Mario Bros. Without any warp zones, and I had a very enjoyable experience. I think Miyamoto and his team did a very good job with the level design for this game, and I can confidently say that it does reach the bar of greatness for me. It is the level of quality I wish games could kind of attain in what they are trying to do. I think the warp zones were kind of a good way to reward players for exploring the levels as much as possible, and it's a good way to speedrun if you don't want to go through that much of, you know, all these different kinds of levels. They kind of give the player some agency in how much of the game they want to play and what style they want to play the game in. It always feels good. If I boot up Super Mario Bros., it would still feel good now. Maybe not as fluid as some of the other 2D Marios, but from what it was coming from as a game, I think it's quite impressive. Super Mario Bros. 2. Now, for those of you that don't know, Super Mario Bros. 2 was originally a game called Doki Doki Panic in Japan, and I believe what the story is, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, was that the the developers of this game, or I'm not sure if Nintendo even made it, but Doki Doki Panic was reskinned into Super Mario Bros. 2 and released in America because Mario was the face of Nintendo, so they thought Americans would buy it a bit more, right? That's why Super Mario Bros. 2 feels a lot different from other Mario games, because the actual core fundamental game mechanics of it is not Mario. It's a completely different game, just reskinned as Mario so it could sell better. If you were to hand me Super Mario Bros. 2 and say, hey, can you play this or whatever, I'd enjoy myself. It's not a game I would really go out and play. I would put it at the top of oh no or at the bottom of good. You're going to see me pushing this back a bit as we go further into the list. Super Mario Bros. 3. This was the first, I believe, Mario game that had an overworld map. I know Super Mario World came afterwards. Now watch, someone's going to bring up some random Mario CDI game that I have no clue even existed and then correct me on that. But Super Mario Bros. 3 introduced some more unique power-ups, I feel, where you had the stone, you had the raccoon, whereas beforehand you only had the fire flower, right? Super Mario Bros. 3 actually does hold a pretty special place in my heart. I really love the overworld. I love how everything's kind of dancing there. I feel like the different kinds of worlds and the level design was actually superb, so I can't help but put this in the bar of greatness also, but it hasn't exactly captured my heart. Captured my heart, by the way, is something that is non-negotiable for me. It's simply something that has taken a hold of my heart in such a way that there would have to be a very, very good argument on YouTube or just, a video in general for why the game fails at what it tries to do. Otherwise, it'd be very hard to argue me out of moving anything on this tier. Everything else you can argue, but it'd be very difficult to convince me otherwise for the other one. I think Super Mario World did what Super Mario Bros. 3 was trying to do a bit better. The world map, for example, is way more colorful and detailed. You feel like the place that you're about to enter into makes sense based on what you see on the world map. Whereas in Super Mario Bros. 3, you don't get that same kind of feeling. There might be like one tiny pyramid next to the place you're about to enter, but in Super Mario World, you're on the canyon, you're inside the cave, and there's different world music dependent upon where you are. It feels way more immersive, I guess is a way of putting it. I also like the power-ups in Super Mario World more a bit better. The cape is one of my favorite power-ups in a Mario game, and it is quite broken, so it's understandable why it didn't come back. This is also where we have Yoshi's first appearance, and he was a fantastic addition to the franchise. Riding on Yoshi and throwing him down cliffs, I mean, that's I can't say that with a straight face. Eating enemies with Yoshi and getting one-ups from it, it's just really enjoyable, You had the fire, you had the fire flower, which I feel like was pulled off in Super Mario World the best. Maybe it was just the sound effects for me. I'm not exactly sure. You had the Superstar, which had a really nice theme to it, and the world design and level design for Super Mario World was just pretty good, You had so many different alternate routes to take. You had the bonus world at the end. I shouldn't say at the end, you can do it a little bit earlier, the star, right? You had the back entrance to Bowser's Castle. There were a lot of choices and options that the players could employ to have their own unique experience in Super Mario World. I really, really enjoy it. I wouldn't put it above Luigi's Mansion. I would play Luigi's Mansion before Super Mario World, if only because I like the concept of Luigi's Mansion so much, so it's going to be hard to top this in the bar of greatness. Then we've got Super Mario Land. I have not played this game personally, nor have I played its sequel. However, I have seen a lot of gameplay, and I do know quite a bit about the game. So, for those that don't know, Super Mario Land was released for the Game Boy, and it's the first game where Daisy is actually in the mainline series, and I believe it's the only mainline series game that Daisy is in. She's in spin-offs, otherwise. Super Mario Land is a very, very wacky game. You have bullet bill blasters coming out of warp pipes. You have giant spiders. The bosses are strange and things that you've never really seen before. You might have some enemies that you've seen before, like piranha plants, but they look weird, kind of like tacos. It's very strange. Sarassaland is a really cool area, and they definitely do try to go for a lot of unique experiences. Although, from what I've seen, it doesn't look like Mario controls as well as he did before. He looks like he's a bit more stiff, but the level design does still look good. I haven't played it myself, so I can't confidently say where I would place it here. From what I've played of Super Mario Bros. 2 comparing it to Super Mario Land, I'd probably enjoy Super Mario Land more, but I can't say I'd like it more than Darkmoon. I feel like this is a game, though, that could easily be in the bar of greatness, but I don't want to put it there if I haven't played it yet. We've got Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. This was the one where Wario was the antagonist, and he had his own castle, and Mario wasn't allowed in or whatever, because all these bosses had 6 golden coins that you needed to enter. It was pretty wacky, just like the original Super Mario Land. I'll kind of sandwich Super Mario Bros. 2 right here, just to serve as a reminder that I haven't played both of these games, but from what I've seen, I think it's a good game. Now we've got Super Mario All-Stars, which was a bit of a collection. I believe it was for Mario's anniversary. Feel free to correct me if I was wrong. It included SNES versions of the original Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 2 The Lost Levels, which was only released in Japan, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario World. So the graphics were updated for the original Super Mario Bros., and we had, the regular graphics for Super Mario World, I believe, because it was already on the SNES. Super Mario Bros. 3 was given some updated graphics, I believe. It's been a while since I played it. And we had Super Mario Bros. 2 The Lost Levels, which was only released in Japan. However, when it was ported over to here in America, I believe there were some things made to make it easier. For example, the poison mushroom, which would downscale you if you were a big Mario and kill you if you were a little Mario. It was very, very mean. It was kind of hard to tell if it was a poison mushroom or not in the original version for the NES, but for this SNES version in Super Mario All-Stars, it was made a bit easier, and I think some level design aspects were changed to make it easier as well. I have played The Lost Levels. It is not a fun game. It has a lot of hidden blocks. It has warp zones that will send you back worlds. There was a part of Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels where I was exploring and I was streamlined into a warp zone that would send me back to World 1. Or I had to jump down a pit and lose a life, but I only had 1 life, so I was forced to go back to World 1. Very frustrating, but Super Mario All-Stars fixes that, right? So as a collection game, I mean, it has Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario Bros. In it. However, it is a collection game, so on its own, I mean, this could technically go above them, but I feel like it's kind of unfair. It's just a collection of them, so I'll keep that at the bar of greatness. Then we've got Yoshi's Island for the SNES. For the longest time, I thought Yoshi's Island DS was actually a remake of this one for the SNES, but I have, since then, the scales have fallen off my eyes, and I've seen what the original one looks like, and they look like they play quite similar. This one looks very fun, and it looks like something that I'd enjoy, but I haven't played personally. A lot of these games I've seen footage for because I've seen people talk about it, and I've seen a lot of my friends play it, so I have a good idea for what my mindset might be on it, but I don't want to confidently say otherwise. I can't say I would put it anywhere down here. Again, I would put it around Super Mario Land. I like the controls and look of it more than Super Mario Land, and I'd probably play it before Darkmoon, because I remember enjoying Yoshi's Island DS a lot, and it looks like it plays very similar to that. Again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. Some of these choices I made are subject to change. New Yoshi's Island. I really, really don't like the art style on this one. I'm going to be frank. When I saw the trailer for it and I compared it to what I saw in Yoshi's Island for the DS, I was very, very disappointed. It looked like a bit more of the same. And I feel like that might be an unfair comparison because Yoshi's Island DS might be more of the same for this one. But this one didn't feel like the gameplay was as tight. Again, I haven't played it. I haven't even seen that much gameplay of it, but from what I've seen and what it looks like, it doesn't strike me as much from a charm aspect. I apologize if the actual level design is very superb, but when something gives off the impression that there wasn't as much passion put into it, even if there was, if it gives off that impression to me, it's kind of hard for me to work the courage back up to like it, if that makes sense. That's some part of me that I kind of want to get rid of. I want to be able to appreciate games for the same reason that other people appreciate them, or at least empathize with why they appreciate them more. I'm sadly going to have to put this in the oh no category, but I digress. We will move on. Now we have New Super Mario Bros., which is the beginning of a very long problem that we're about to see with Wii to you. But remember, when you first played New Super Mario Bros., if you played it, it was just Super Mario Bros., but new. The new in the title didn't lose its meaning. That's when all the other ones came after. So just thinking about it in terms of that, I really appreciate New Super Mario Bros. It has updated graphics from the original, brand new levels, all these different worlds with these different kinds of aesthetics, which although there are environment-based, they aren't the most creative things in the world, they were still new to me. You also had the Mega Mushroom, which allowed you to destroy the entire level, including the flagpole, which is really freaking cool. The Mini Mushroom, which allowed you to, like, go into tight spaces, and the level design had accounted for it. You had the Blue Shell power-up, which I believe is the only time you see that power-up in any Mario game, like the actual power-up Mario, sporting the blue shell and sliding around in a shell. I could be wrong about that, feel free to correct me. And the multiplayer for this game was amazing. You had different kinds of mini games, I think from 64DS as well, and you also had the 2D platforming mode with a friend. And if you've ever played that local with a friend, you know what the good times were. I have to say that this does reach my bar of greatness, and I'm beginning to realize that I need to add another tier. I'm going to add a tier above the bar of greatness, because we're about to get into some games later on that I do consider to be really, really good games, but the Captured My Heart category is just a tiny bit above that. So I will rename the S Captured My Heart to S+. It's just a little bit more than the row that came behind it, or below it. And this one's just going to be S, and they're going to be Bestie Boys. There we go. Bestie Boys. That's a terrible. Let's just call it The Greats. And the Greats aren't that far away from the S+. So, and I'm not saying New Super Mario Bros. Wii was part of the Greats. That's because I looked ahead in the list. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, very fun with friends. I had a lot of fun playing this as a kid. I played it with my brother all the time, played with my dad a bit, and some of my friends back then. This is a very fun multiplayer game, very stress-inducing as well. I think the camera's pretty good with it. Exploring the areas is pretty dang fun. You have to keep in mind, though, I played this one in New Super Mario Bros. Wii after I played New Super Mario Bros. DS, so the worlds weren't exactly unique to me, but I feel like the multiplayer aspect of it was good enough for me to be like, hey, this game's freaking awesome. I love playing this. But I wouldn't say it was so good for me to say, oh, this is the exact level of quality I want other games to like kind of achieve. So I put that on the top of good. I would play it probably before Yoshi's Island. Granted, I had friends to play it with. If I was playing solo, I'd probably play Yoshi's Island first. New Super Mario Bros. 2. This is when they started running this concept into the ground. In New Super Mario Bros. 2, they introduced coins as the main feature. This was kind of the selling point of the game. You can see it on the cover right there. Luigi's holding a bunch of coins. There was the gold flower, which allowed Mario to turn into Gold Mario, and Luigi turned into Silver Luigi, which is kind of funny. And with this, they were able to throw these gold fireballs, which would spawn even more coins. There was these gold caps, propeller caps and whatever, where if you went fast enough, it would start spawning coins, or if you ran, it started spawning coins. There were coins all over the place. Now, with the concept like coins, where it's kind of a collectible, what do you think would be a good idea, right? This is a currency. Coins are, considered a currency, right? So what do you think would be a good idea to have coins in a game about coins? Maybe a purchasing system, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Nope. There is no thing that you can do with these coins. The only thing that they do is give you lives, which are basically meaningless in this game. You're going to get hundreds of them because of all the coins you're collecting. If you look at a regular playthrough of this game, I wouldn't doubt that you would see a player having above 100 lives, if not hundreds more, because of how many coins they are collecting. The actual level design reminds me of New Super Mario Bros. However, it looks like more of the same, been there, done that kind of feel. In addition, the main mechanic with coins is heavily dropped on its head, and I'm not really sure why new is right behind it. It says New Super Mario Bros. 2. Yeah, whatever. Also, the music, I feel like, is just a straight rip of the music from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I looked at I believe a Game Explain review of New Super Mario Bros. 2 recently, and they compared the title screen between New Super Mario Bros. Wii and 2, and they are almost identical. It's actually crazy how similar they are. It just doesn't stand out to me. It's not something I would go and I don't want to put it down here because you'll know what goes down there. New Super Mario Bros. U. This is one of the first times we see Mario in HD, if not the first time. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, they introduced some new power-ups. I I kind of enjoyed myself. I don't know. Honestly, if you were to play these games individually for the first time, this might look confusing to you. Like, oh, New Super Mario Bros. U? That, you could play it with multiple people. It's in HD. There's all these power-ups. Of course that's better than New Super Mario Brothers. But look, I'm just looking at this from a conceptual standpoint as well. You have to stick with me here. Like, New Super Mario Brothers was the first time that we had done this. And then we came in and did the same thing, but with multiplayer. And you had Yoshi, so that was pretty cool, right? And it's like, okay, that's cool, let's move on to something else. But no, they insist. Then they made New Super Mario Bros. 2 with bad coin mechanics, and then they made U right afterwards, and it's more of the same. All the worlds have the same similar kind of aesthetic, and I really hate that. But despite U coming out after 2, and it's rehashing more times than, 2 is, U at the very least has the multiplayer back again, and has these like little Yoshis and stuff. So it adds a couple more mechanics that I feel like I can get behind, and it feels like the world map is a bit more fleshed out, and I can kind of enjoy it a bit more like that. But honestly, these two aren't very apart from each other. I probably would play Yoshi's New Island before New Super Mario Bros. 2. Maybe. I can't say that for sure. Super Mario Maker. Instant bar of greatness. The idea of Super Mario Maker is a dream. It is an absolute dream. The fact that we have it is so freaking cool. I feel like we really underestimate or undermine the coolness factor of Super Mario Maker even existing. It feels like the kind of thing, much like Smash Brothers, that in an alternate timeline where it didn't exist, you would have talked about it with your friends. Oh, why doesn't Nintendo make a game where you can make your own 2D Mario levels? Oh, and what if they had different aesthetics from like Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 3, the original, maybe New Super Mario Bros? Like we or you, and then your friend would slap you across the face and be like, why in the world would Nintendo do that? They would lose so much money because, no one would buy any other 2D Mario again. But they did do it. Now you might be wondering, well, why is it at the bottom of the bar of greatness? Because it missed out on its most crucial feature, the search function. Now remember, this isn't Super Mario Maker 2, this is the original Super Mario Maker. The search feature in the original Super Mario Maker was not as good as it was in Super Mario Maker 2, and even then, 2's isn't that much better, to be quite honest. There is not any online play with friends in the original Super Mario Maker, like there is with 2. And there aren't as many things that you can do in the original one. You can do a lot, granted. I've played it. I've played it a lot. I've seen the levels. I've made some levels, right? You can't do as much, though, and there aren't any slopes. So they kind of dropped the ball with execution a little bit. Would I play it above some of these? Maybe, honestly. It's really hard. This one can go in a lot of places. I couldn't put it above Luigi's Mansion, though. I could put it in many different places. So don't take this as its, final placement. Super Mario 64, instant great, one of the most important games ever made, if not the most important game ever made. It did not have to go as hard as it did. What I mean by that is the areas that were created in the game, such as Bob-omb Battlefield, Whomp's Fortress, the game could have been comprised of similar looking areas, and the game still would have sold amazingly. Heck, the game could have still had places like Lethal Lava Land and Shifting Sand Land and still sold amazingly, but the game didn't have to go so hard with different concepts such as Wet Dry World or Tiny Huge Island or Tick-Tock Clock. They didn't have to go that hard. They didn't have to make a world based on changing the water elevation for one of the first true 3D games ever made. Now, there is going to be debate over what is the first real 3D game, but I'm just talking about platformers here. Now watch, someone's going to bring up some really obscure platform I don't know about, but you know what I mean. With one of the pioneers in 3D gaming, they made a level that was about changing water level, right? From up to down, down to up. They made a world based around changing the size of it, and they made two separate maps, right? One scaled down and one scaled way, way up. Neither of them are actually normal size. Isn't that really cool? You have Tick-Tock Clock, where all the objects are going at different speed. I already talked about that. All the levels are really unique. Well, most of them, right? It just doesn't exactly capture my heart per se, because the actual hub world, Princess Peach's Castle, while it's very memorable and very cleverly designed, I wouldn't exactly say it's like immersive to me. Like compare Princess Peach's Castle to like the, Delfino Plaza or the Observatory or Roqueport from, Thousand Year Door. Like, those things are like living and breathing, whereas Princess Peach's castle is just kind of like, hey, I'm here, I have really good music, and, I'm pretty, right? But other than that, it's not too, hey, I really like this, But, at least for me, I still like moving around in it. When it comes to the actual immersion in the worlds, it doesn't capture me as much either, because they are kind of separate from one another, and the paintings are... I shouldn't talk in the paintings. Actually, entering the paintings is pretty cool. But the levels themselves, they're just kind of floating areas, quite a few of them are. I think I'm just thinking of Whomp's Fortress. It just doesn't capture me, You'll understand what captures my heart when I put Super Mario Sunshine in S+ tier. Captured my heart, and it probably will always have my heart. Yes, I played it while I was younger, but there are tons of games that I've played while I was younger, which change over time. And that has happened before. So, for example, I had played Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, and I had said it was my favorite game of all time, but it went down quite a bit after I played Bowser's Inside Story, right? I had played Super Paper Mario, I thought that was one of my favorites, and then it went down a bit after I played, like, Thousand Year Door, maybe a bit later on. I'm not exactly sure on the order, right? After I played Odyssey, I moved some 3D Mario games down. I'm always critical of what I have seen in the past, and I try not to let nostalgia take a hold of me. There are games I'm very nostalgic for, but I don't think are that good. I once played this Mickey Mouse game that was on the GameCube, and I think PS2, and it was one of the first games I played, but I don't think it's one of the best ever. There's a reason why I still like these games. So, that being said, I've made a lot of videos on Super Mario Sunshine. I don't want to rehash what I've already said, but the whole place feels connected. There's a lot of culture involved. They all feel like actual locations because they connect to one another, and there's tons of dialogue in the kinds of levels that there are. They're very open. It gives a lot of player agency. The shine sprites are super fun collectibles. They actually have meaning to the story because you can see the island getting brighter. Just watch my Super Mario Sunshine videos if you want me to go more in depth than that. Super Mario Galaxy. I wouldn't... this is very difficult for me. I wouldn't say it's on the same level for me as Sunshine. Like, I feel like the Observatory was a missed opportunity. It has a lot of really cool parts about it that I better appreciated after watching a video called The Quiet Sadness of Super Mario Galaxy, which I wanted to make a video really similar to that one, but I found it and I'm like, crap, this guy did everything I wanted to do and probably better. Would I play Galaxy before 64? I'm not exactly sure, because I don't have a copy of Galaxy right now. I put Galaxy behind Super Mario 64 right now, because I've played 64 more recently than Galaxy, so I can't say, oh, I like it more instantly, but these are so close, it's not even comparable. They should basically be overlapping with one another, so please don't, think this is that much of a difference. The difference between this and what's down here is very slight, but, gosh. Okay, Super Mario Galaxy 2. Here's the problem with Galaxy 2. It is way less immersive than the first Galaxy. And an example of that is just look at the opening. For the original Super Mario Galaxy, yeah, you get a letter from Princess Peach, and you're enjoying the Star Festival, everything's in 3D. And you see all the toads kind of happy, you hear like dun 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 dun, you hear all this music, it's very happy-go-lucky, and then Bowser attacks, and then that's when all these toads are like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then Bowser lifts everything up, and then you get knocked by Kamek into this, like, planet, right? And it's very quiet, it's very atmospheric, and then the camera zooms out at one point, and you just see space, like... If you want more on the atmosphere of Super Mario Galaxy, if you even like the game a little bit, or if you don't like the game that much, I heavily recommend go watch the video, The Quiet Sadness of Super Mario Galaxy. Something like that. It's very, very good. You'll understand what I mean if you watch that video. He can explain it better than I can here. Super Mario Galaxy 2 doesn't do any of that. In the opening Super Mario Galaxy 2, it's in 2D actually, which is quite strange. It kind of plays like New Super Mario Brothers, like a little bit. It's a little weird. I'm not sure what they were trying to go for. I think it was trying to go for a storybook thing because it like flips pages, but it feels kind of rushed. It doesn't feel like it was done very well, to be quite frank. If they just kind of took what Galaxy 1 did and just rehashed it, right? Like, and the actual hub world, I don't think is as charming. Like Lubba, that big purple Luma, is nowhere near as cool of a character as Rosalina was. Super Mario Galaxy had the Rosalina storybook, where you got to learn a bit more about her past, which is one of the most charming things I've ever seen in a video game. Galaxy 2 doesn't have that. Rosalina isn't present in Galaxy 2 until like a certain point, and it's basically a cameo, right? And that big purple Luma it doesn't do it for me. You know, Rosalina is so much cooler, and the Mario spaceship, I feel, isn't as cool as the actual observatory. In terms of the world map, I think Galaxy does a much better job because, again, it's way more immersive, whereas Galaxy 2 settles for the new Super Mario Bros. Approach of just, hey, you're on this world map, this is very horizontal, and you can just kind of It's just kind of whatever to me. In terms of the actual gameplay, Galaxy 2 might have more varied levels. It has different power-ups. I believe it's the one that added it added Cloud Mario. It added Yoshi, which is always a nice addition to have. Yoshi felt pretty good in this game. You have Dash Yoshi, which is when he eats a red hot chili pepper or whatever. He eats a chili pepper. I said a JoJo stand. I think, anyways. But yeah, he eats a chili pepper, turns red, and he's able to run across walls and stuff like Sonic. And then there's Balloon Yoshi, so that's pretty cool about Galaxy 2. Has Grandmaster Galaxy, pretty dang cool. I just don't remember as many galaxies from this game. I just don't. I don't even remember if I 100%ed it. I 100%ed every 3D, like, big 3D Mario game. Like, mainline. I don't know. I wouldn't... It's hard for me to put Galaxy 2 anywhere. I'll put it below Super Mario Maker, but I'm not really feeling it. There's something in my gut that's just telling me you don't think this game is better than the ones below it, but whatever. Super Mario Odyssey. I loved me some Odyssey. It's hard for me to place these. The 3D Mario games, I feel, are very, very consistent in their quality. By the way, if you want to know my opinion on Super Mario 64 DS, I would probably put it above Super Mario 64. So, but that's not on the list, so we're not going to talk about it too much. So, Super Mario Odyssey. I 100%ed it, got 999 moons. I got all the costumes, right? I got literally every single moon you could possibly get in this game. I got all the different kinds of costumes. I found every stupid balloon that people were hiding in the hide and seek area. I did that for hours. I loved me some Odyssey. It was pretty dang fun, and the culture, I just love feeling immersed in a game. That's a big part of a game for me. I love feeling immersed, and Odyssey kind of got me in that regard. The movement is really, really good. After playing Sunshine, it kind of makes me think, oh, will there ever be movement in a Mario game that's as good as Sunshine? Because Flood was such a good movement option, you know? Like, the hover nozzle was amazing, and all the movement options in Sunshine were great. But then Odyssey, like, slapped me like, get that out of here, dude. Here are some movement options. You want movement options? You could, like, roll. You could, like, freaking throw Cappy, do a dive, and then throw him again, then do another dive, and then, like, freaking wall. Like, you could do so many different kinds of things with Cappy. The actual mechanic of taking over an enemy, like, from the Mario franchise, and then getting their abilities is really cool. As Video Game Donkey said, you can become a Goombas. It's really freaking fun, dude. Is it better than Galaxy? I'd probably play it over Galaxy. Will I play over 64? Maybe. I'd probably put Odyssey before them. These are so close to each other, though. Like, I shuffle these around on a day-by-day basis in my head, honestly. I'm just going to I'm going to keep it where it was right there. But these are so close to each other, I basically changed them day by day. Now we have a Super Mario 3D Land, which I believe was released after New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but before New Super Mario Bros. 2. Don't quote me on that. It reused the aesthetic in the same way that the New Soup series just always seems to do, but this time we're in 3D, which introduces way more game mechanics than the 2D games were able to on repeat, aesthetics, and that's why I enjoy it a bit more. I wouldn't really put it up in the bar of greatness necessarily, would I? Man, it's pretty good. I remember playing it a lot. I think I 100%ed it. It has a lot of content, I know that. It has this cool, Zelda level. For some reason, I can't really explain it. I can't put it up here. I haven't played the game recently enough to really know what my full opinion on it is. I really like Boomerang Mario. I think that's a pretty sick power-up. I'm going to put it above Wii. I think I would play it before Wii in a heartbeat. These are further apart than what it seems right there. I think this would be better explained if I go over Super Mario 3D World. Super Mario 3D World is the worst... It's probably the worst 3D Mario game I've ever played. I just gotta keep it real with all of you guys. Now, some of you might get a little upset about that. Like, what is so bad about Super Mario 3D World? Like, honestly, I might even put it down here. I'm gonna have to explain myself pretty hard. So, the new Super Mario Bros. Series has the problem of rehashing the same old aesthetics over and over and over again, right? That's its main issue, that's what most people will agree upon. Sure, Mario might feel good to control and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's been there, done that, right? Super Mario 3D World uses the exact same aesthetics from these places, except Bowser's Castle, which has more of a Japanese interior design, which I guess is cool, right? But then you have it. Not only do you have the new Super Mario Bros. Aesthetics piled onto this game, yet again, we have seen the new Super Mario Bros. Aesthetics so many times, and now it's in the new 3D Mario game for the Wii U, right? Remember, look, Super Mario 64, that was the 3D Mario for the N64. Super Mario Sunshine was the 3D for the GameCube. Galaxy was the 3D one for the Wii. Heck, Galaxy 2 was like, hey, why not throw in another there? People love that one, right? And then we have Odyssey, right? For 3D Mario on the Switch. And the 3D Mario game for the Wii U is, drumroll, Super Mario 3D World. What the heck happened? I want you to look at... Why am I putting this on Capture My Heart? It's not a great... I'm just putting this closer together. I want you to compare what Super Mario 3D World did and attempted to do compared to what Super Mario Sunshine did with its one culture, all these inhabitants. You get the picture. The amazement that Super Mario 64 has created for the gaming industry. The atmospheric Super Mario Galaxy going from place to place, all these different locations. It feels so sad, but just so heartwarming at the same time. You got Super Mario Odyssey with all these different crazy movement options. You can take control of different kinds of characters. Galaxy 2, just built upon Galaxy, may not be as good, right? Super Mario 3D World, the new 3D Mario. And it's new Super Mario Bros., but in 3D. Man, and the worst part is we already had a game in the form of Super Mario 3D Land that had done that already. So it brought nothing new and was just an utter disappointment to me. Honestly, I'm sorry. Like, if this game was just some standalone thing, then I'd probably judge it differently. But when it's the 3D Mario for the console, and I'm like, oh boy, it's time to get my console out and play it. Oh man. It does nothing too new. It has the cat suit, which I guess is okay, and it has multiplayer, but I don't find the multiplayer to be as fun and enjoyable as the 2D multiplayer chaos that was in the new Soup games. I know some people would say, oh, that's a plus. It's not as chaotic. You don't run into each other as much. I feel like you were more interactive with your friends trying to get over obstacles together in the new Soup games than you did in Super Mario 3D World. And again, I'll make a video on this, alright? Guarantee it. I will make a video on this. I'll flesh out my opinion more. Feel free to get mad at me for that. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. I've seen a lot of this game. I haven't played it. I've played a lot of Mario & Luigi games. Well, yeah, you'll see. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. I've seen the story. I've seen a lot of the things it does. It's probably at the bar of greatness, right? I haven't played it myself, though, but I am pretty sure from all the gameplay I've seen, from all the little cutscenes I've seen, from the music I've listened to, from all the charm it has, I'm pretty confident it's at the bar of greatness. I'm not saying it's worse than any of these games. I just simply haven't played it here. I wish I could put a tag on some games that's like, oh, I'm not absolutely sure. I think it would probably go around here. It might... I imagine, this is my guess, I imagine it'd be like up here. Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. I really, really liked this game. This game had the baby Mario and baby Luigi before they started going crazy with the whole baby thing. I really thought it was cute just having baby Mario and baby Luigi on their respective older selves' backs. I thought it was a very interesting idea, and how you were able to go into places that were in the past and then see how they changed in the present. You got to see Professor Egad when he was like just a college student, you know what I mean? And he like poured all this water or something. He took this huge hose, put it into the time portal, right? And then that transported all the water to the future. It was some wacky stuff, and there was like a lot of funny moments in Partners in Time too. So I really appreciate this game a lot. I'm just gonna put it above Superstar Saga for now, because again, I haven't played Superstar Saga. Bowser's Inside Story. Ooh, great. I'm sorry, dude. That's gonna be our first RPG that I put up in the great there. It is very close to being up here, by the way. It's pretty close. These ones are very close to one another as well. I'm going to put Bowser's Inside Story right here. I think the idea of traveling, like being Mini Mario and Luigi and going through Bowser's organs, like, oh, it was such a cool idea. It really used the Nintendo DS to the full extent, because the DS has a top screen and a bottom screen. The top screen is where you played Bowser's battles, because he was in the overworld, right? The bottom screen is where you played Mario and Luigi, because they were inside of Bowser's like stomach, bowels, and all that kind of stuff, you know? And it sounds gross, but the way they did it was super interesting, and it didn't feel forced whenever you had to fight something that was like a virus inside Bowser. It felt really cool. You had this like Mario and Luigi boss battle, which was against the memories that Bowser had of Mario and Luigi. And those memories that you were fighting against were really pixelated, kind of like real memories. Real memories aren't going to be the exact same thing. When you remember something, it's going to be kind of blurry, pixely, you're not really sure. And that's what the boss battle looked like, and that's what it felt like. And the final boss is probably one of my favorite final bosses in the Mario franchise, against like, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil or whatever. It's just a very, very fun final boss, and it has one of my favorite endings to a Mario game as well. So, it's just, look up if you don't care about spoilers or you've already seen it, you might want to rewatch it. Look up the ending of Bowser's Inside Story, like the after credits or just the credits beforehand. It's so charming. It just reminds me of why I love the Mario series, dude. It's so great. I'll probably make a video on that one eventually, too. Dream Team. I actually lost my copy of Dream Team partway through playing it. I love the music in it. I like Try Again a lot. I have not seen enough of it for me to be very confident on this list. But from what I have seen, it looks like it tries to do what Bowser's Inside Story does, but a little worse. Because when you are traveling throughout Bowser's body and you activate certain parts to like kill viruses and whatever, it feels good. I don't know, it feels like immersed, for as immersed you can get for that kind of setting. But when you're in Luigi's dream world, I never really got the impression, at least from the gameplay, that you were actually in Luigi's dreams. Was there ever a part of Dream Team where you kind of saw how nervous Luigi was about not being able to stand up to his brother? Like, if there was, then I'd bump this up a bit, because I feel like it's a good opportunity to kind of explore Luigi's character. You're in his dreams. Why wouldn't there be tons of different ghosts and tons of things he's afraid of? Again, if that's in the game, then by all means I'll bump it up. But right now, I'll just kind of, put it around here in good. I'm not gonna solid ranking it. It just doesn't really capture me as much. Try Again though is one of my favorite Mario themes. It hits so many notes. Oh my gosh, go listen to that if you haven't heard it already. Paper Jam, sorry, I'm just throwing it right down there. I'd play 3D World before Paper Jam. It's part of the dark age of Paper Mario, and it hurts my feelings a heck ton, and I really don't know what else to say about it other than that. It brings so many Paper Mario characters. Actually, screw that. When I say Paper Mario characters, it just brings in a bunch of random enemies, and then it brings in Paper Bowser to talk to, like, the Bowser in the Mario and Luigi series. And then it brings in Paper Mario, who just basically has no personality. I don't even know why he's there. He doesn't look or feel... He doesn't feel like Paper Mario. He doesn't feel like him. It's very weird, because Paper Mario doesn't seem to have, like, a fully fleshed out personality. It's kind of hard to say that, but he doesn't feel like Paper Mario. It's very difficult for me to describe. And to be frank, I haven't played this game before. I haven't even touched it. I've seen lots of gameplay on it, and I was hyped when I saw it. I'm like, dude, my Mario and Luigi series, dude, Bowser's Inside Story crossed with Paper Mario, that's sick. But they didn't actually make it feel like Paper Mario in the sense that there were tons of different unique characters and unique ways that they interacted. It just took it away. I'm sorry. Again, like, I might have a differing opinion on this later on. Now we have Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars Instant S+, captured my heart. It influenced me so much. It made me really want to analyze games with a closer lens, because it showed me just how much love and passion can be put into a game, even if that love and passion is going towards very small details that no one is going to notice unless they are immersed into the game. For example, there is a scene in this game where it's just a regular NPC conversation. Just picture any NPC you would talk to, any RPG, right? I believe there's a blue toad and a pink toad. It's in the Mushroom Kingdom. They're going to go get married. That's cool. Cute conversation. You're done, right? Later on in the story, if you come back to the same place that they were at, you'll see a note on the door that says that they are off to go get married. And then you come across a place called Marrymore, which is where people get married, right? And guess what? You see these random NPCs there. Remember, this isn't a huge storyline thing. These are just random NPCs that you would see anywhere. You may not even remember them at the time, but if you do, you'll be like, oh my gosh, those are those two toads that I remember in my playthrough from like, a week ago when I was playing like a week ago. Oh, that's cool, right? And I noticed this. So they get married and stuff, and it's really cute because like you see it, and and then after the fact, or when you talk to them, well, like after they get married, I'm sorry, I'm a little hype about this. They say that they're thinking of going on a honeymoon, right? And you think, okay, that's the last time I'm going to see them, whatever, right? But here's the best part, right? You could go throughout the whole story and never see them again and be like, oh, okay, well, whatever, right? But there's a secret part of Super Mario RPG not needed by the story at all, the Yoshi's Island area. And that's where you take a detour in an underground section and you end up at Yoshi's Island. Guess what? You see those toads there. That's where their honeymoon is, dude. That is awesome. Little details like that. They made a narrative for these two toad NPCs that you don't, like, no one's gonna notice this. Like, how many people picked up on this? If you played Super Mario RPG, I want you to tell me, did you know what I just told you right now? I think a lot of you didn't. And I'm not saying that as, oh, wow, I'm just paying more attention. I'm saying that as there are probably things that you know more about Super Mario RPG than me, and I know more about you because we immersed in different ways. It's a journey, you know? Like, it's so cool, dude. There's so many small details in this game. The gameplay's freaking awesome. You get Bowser and Peach as party members. Dude, that's sick. It also has Gina, one of the coolest freaking characters of all time. Oh my, I'd be cool with him in Smash. I'm not like a front runner for having him in Smash, whatever. But this game is really sick. It's the main drawback. The main drawback to this game is its art style. If you asked me, hey, Zoomzyke, Justin, whatever you want to call me, I'm probably Zoomzyke or Zyke. What remake would you want for a Mario game? What Mario game is most deserving of a remake? Screw Sunshine. Dude, Sunshine already looks good, alright? Don't give Sunshine a remake. It already looks good. Come on. Super Mario RPG needs that crap. I want you to look at Super Mario RPG and tell me it doesn't need a remake. It looks perfect as it is. I'm okay with the art style, but like, there's only so much art style. A lot of it is the graphical limitations. I just gotta keep it real. This game desperately needs a remake. Oh my gosh, please. Love it. Gonna make a video on it in the future. Paper Mario. Probably captured my heart as well, although it would be on the lesser extreme. Paper Mario is either at the very tip top of the greats or the capture my heart. I put it in the middle. And the reason why this is so difficult for me, I'm going to put it on capture my heart for now, but just treat it as I'm going to keep it on the lower tier. It didn't have as many details as Super Mario RPG, but it's a fantastic series overall. Like, well, you know, it's a fantastic game overall. You're able to use, like, Goombari to tattle and get information about, like, you know, different enemies. It's a very fun turn-based combat system. It makes me enjoy turn-based combat a lot, right? I can't always get into regular, like, JRPGs and stuff like Final Fantasy because the turn-based combat, it's kind of hard for me to get invested into it, even though, you know, the faster your character is, the quicker you can, you know, I won't speak too much on that. But it makes turn-based combat really, really fun for me, and I really appreciate for that. There's almost too much to say about Paper Mario. If you've played it, you know what the charm is. And I like that the paper is an aesthetic. It's not like a super core part of the game, which we're going to talk a bit more on. We're going to talk about all of these, like, honestly, all four of these things here. Paper Mario, the Thousand-Year Door. It is one of, if not my favorite game of all time. There's too much to talk about here. Every chapter of Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door is its own isolated story with certain characters that weave in and out. Every boss, for the most part, is unique, you know? Like, there are some reused ones, as there will be, right? But even for the ones that can't get reused, they tend to have different personalities from ones that look similar to them, which I can appreciate. And then, again, of course, there's going to be a reused one. It improved so much upon the original Paper Mario that it's just amazing. Like, the original Paper Mario is already phenomenal. And then Thousand Year Door made what was phenomenal even better. Thousand Year Door is the exact... It is the embodiment of what a sequel should be, building upon the foundation of what came before it and adding on aesthetics and gameplay mechanics that the original one didn't have, but could have had if it was given more development time. There are so many unique and amazing characters in the Thousand Year Door, so many narratives to follow. The art style is really charming and cool. The sound effects are amazing. They're really fun to pull off. There's all these, it's pretty simple to play, but if you want to challenge yourself, there's tons of options for that. You have badges which make it so your Mario is going to be unique from other people's Marios. It's really dark for a Mario game. Like, as dark as Mario can get, I'd say Thousand Year Door is the darkest. And its aesthetic plays into that. There's so much to say about Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. It holds a really, really special place in my heart. Like, someone would have to make a really, really good argument for why Thousand Year Door is a bad game. Like, an insanely good argument. Like, I would have had to been blind. Or whatever. But, incredible game. This is literally a must-play for me. Like, if you are a gamer and you have not played The Thousand Year Door, you are doing yourself a massive disservice. Massive disservice. There are plot twists, too. Thousand Year Door has the most, like, plot twists, and I shouldn't say most, because I haven't played, a couple of the other ones here, but it has a lot of plot twists and a lot of really cool things in Mario, where I would actually say they are spoilers. How often can you say, oh, spoilers for a Mario game? You could do it for Thousand Year Door, dude. There's a few there. Final boss, probably my favorite final boss in a Mario game. Sick. Absolutely awesome, dude. Too much to say about Thousand Year Door. Let's talk about Super Paper Mario. I wouldn't put it up here with the greats, but I would put it here with the bar of greatness, though. It is a lot like Luigi's Mansion in the sense that it has this unique concept, right? And it executes it very, very well. I like Super Paper Mario a lot. It doesn't nail it exactly the same way that Paper Mario and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door do for me. I still think it's a very good Paper Mario game, though. It has the core of the Paper Mario feel with the world, and it immerses you into that world with a bunch of unique characters, while also having the wackiness that is Mario. I think the idea of having a 2D platformer and going 3D in order to navigate around certain obstacles is really cool. I think it's very funny, and the dialogue's pretty charming. There's that whole, like, mansion that you go through from a guy that's basically an otaku, right? And you play a visual novel with Peach. Have you seen that scene before? If you haven't played Super Paper Mario, go look up Super Paper Mario Peach visual novel. Or like it's like some kind of boss battle, like this dating sim, I guess is a better way to put it. Like the Peach dating sim. So charming, dude. It has Dimentio, who's a very great antagonist. Count Bleck and Timpani, I believe is her name, the butterfly. They have like a story together that's like told in between chapters. There's that samurai world, which is really freaking cool. There's some plot twists in Super Paper Mario as well. Awesome game. Stickered Star. Sticker Star is the biggest disappointment I've ever had in a video game. Because, yeah, you have to think about it. Like, I loved Paper Mario, loved Thousand Year Door, Super Paper Mario, everything I said. And then I saw, oh my god, there's Paper Mario for the 3DS, a mobile Paper Mario. My eyes lit up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a dream come true. I played it. It does everything that a game should not do. The only good parts that I can praise about Sticker Star is its exploration. There's some exploration, but other than that, it new soups it up, right? The chapters aren't as unique. It's just kind of like, grass does, but like they're not fleshed out at all. You don't really get that much of a sense of like where you actually are, Like in Paper Mario, sure, Dry Desert wasn't like a super unique location, but you actually got to see the town of it, and you got to see the unique inhabitants, right? And the way that they go about life. That was cool. But Sticker Star, it's just toads. It's just toads. It's just, they're all red toads. They're not even different colors. They're all red toads. You don't have any partners. There is literally no reason to fight anybody. There is literally no reason to fight anybody. I will reiterate that. You probably heard this spiel so many times, and I'm sorry if you have. But like, if you like this game, I want you to hear me right now. There is literally no reason to encounter any battle in Sticker Star unless you just strictly like the battle system. There's no progression. You only get coins or stickers, right? Where do you use stickers? In battles. So what, you're telling me I have to go into battles, right? Use a sticker to get a sticker? And it's like, sure, maybe if coins could get you something, right? Let's say, you go into battle to get coins, Zoomzike, that's pretty cool, right? But coins, what are they used for? To buy more stickers. It's like, it's this cycle that just doesn't make any sense. You don't level up, there's no progression, there's no point in battling. And the bosses are just, they're basically one-shot by the things, like the fan and the scissors and everything like that. It's just, and they're not nearly as charming. They aren't interwoven with the narrative nearly as much. I could go on for hours about Sticker Star, honestly. It just makes me so sad. Oh my gosh. At least it didn't have the white outline. That's okay. Speaking of which, Color Splash. Oh. Oh. Gosh. I'm sorry. Like, honestly, Color Splash, I feel bad for putting it so next. Honestly, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm sorry for what must be done. Because this is really how much the difference is. Like, Sticker Star is in its own tier for me. And I'm not even saying this is a joke. Like, if you, like, screenshot this and go like, man, this is how much he hates this game, you know? It's like, this must be some kind of joke. It's not a joke. Like, this is really the difference. Color Splash has better dialogue than Sticker Star by a mile. The dialogue almost rivals that of Thousand Year Door. I'm not joking. Like, it's that witty and that funny sometimes. But everything else, all the bosses, spoiler alert, are Kooplings. Who freaking cares? Like, when all the chapter bosses are Kooplings, that just takes away any tension that you could ever have in a chapter. Imagine entering a new chapter in Color Splash just to know that the final boss is going to be another random Koopling that isn't really intertwined with the story. Or maybe they are, dude. I've seen tons of gameplay and I've played through a bit of the game, but oh my gosh. There's also little reason to encounter enemies. There's still a little bit more than Sticker Star, because you can actually increase the amount of paint you can hold on to, but that's nothing compared to the progression in Paper Mario and Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, where you could have tons of different badges equipped so you're unique from one another and other people's playthroughs, and you can level up your HP, your FP, and, you know, again, your badge points. You can do these, like, challenges. It's just frustrating. I need to do a Paper Mario, like, series breakdown so I can fully explain this, because I don't want to bombshell you guys with just Paper Mario stuff this entire time. Overview of this tier list. Let me just make sure I have everything right. Putting New Super Mario Bros. U down here is probably unfair, honestly. I had more fun with that game than I made it sound like a little earlier. Let's see, Super Mario World, would I play I'm comparing these against each other. What would I play before the other one? I would probably play Super Mario Maker before New Super Mario Brothers. Probably would. Galaxy 2. I would play Galaxy 2 before Super Mario Brothers. Would I play Galaxy 2 before any of these? Bowser's Inside Story. I loved Bowser's Inside Story, but I think I like the platform. I think I like the platformers a bit more than that. I'll put it right next to Galaxy. I think this is a good placement. This is about how I feel. Super Mario 3D Land I played before. This looks about accurate to me. Again, some of these games I haven't played as much. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Yeah. So some of these games, that's the tier list. If you want to take a screenshot and roast me or whatever, feel free. If you want to get my opinion more, feel free to show it to me on Twitter and be like, hey, can I get some more thoughts on this? Why do you think this is actually better than this? I will respond to you. Just send it to me over Twitter. Typing over YouTube kind of sucks. I mean, you can still comment. I'll try to respond. But, you know, mentioning me on Twitter, you have a better chance of getting a response. So, that's the whole deal. I got all the Mario, dude. This is probably the most unoriginal video I've ever had on my channel, but hey, I had to do a super duper unoriginal video, like a, you know, tier list at some point. I'm not trying to roast anyone that does it, by the way, you know. They probably make they could probably make it more interesting than I have here, or maybe not. I'm rambling. I'll see you later and see you tomorrow for more of the June Zoom. Ooh. Did they leave? Are they gone? Okay. All right. All right. So, if you're still watching this video, and this might be confusing to you. You might be like, "Wait, what's going on?" I checked out my audience retention time on YouTube videos, and people tend to leave. I know this. I did the math. I did the analytics. All right. I did the analytics. People tend to leave around the time I say June Zoom. The moment I say June Zoom, that's around the time people leave, or a little before that. And if you're still here, then you're one of the loyal ones. So I'm going to give you something very special for sticking around. All right. Now this tier is where I will put you. This is you. You're right here. You're right next to S Plus captured my heart for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate it, dude. And I'll see you tomorrow for more of the June Zoom. Now, if you're still here, because I faked out those people who were posing as people that cared about me, I'm gonna put you, you, above the posers who, I'm gonna put you above the posers who really thought that sticking around after the first June Zoom was enough, right? This is you. If you're still watching this, this is you. And if you skipped ahead, then you're in Sticker Star tier, right? This is you, really. Now the video's actually gonna end. You're freaking awesome. Good job. I'm really proud of you. You get a cupcake. See you later for more of the June Zoom. It's really gonna end this time, I swear. All right, see ya. See you tomorrow.